That's always the longest one.
Like 3 minutes. There we go.
Oh, okay, it's great. Okay. All right, it's officially 7 p.m. and you can start. Thank you, everybody. It's September 26th, 2024. Time is 7 p.m. This is the village board meeting for the village of Willow Springs, and this meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk Charles, can you please call up?
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Here.
Micah,
Here.
Ash, Moon, Carr, President Nettmeyer.
Here, that completes the roll, and we have a quorum. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We will jump right into number 3 on our agenda. That is the discussion of previous minutes. In our board pack, we have the minutes from September 12th, 2024. There a motion to approve those?
I'll make that motion.
By trustee Kennedy.
Second.
Second by trustee Micah. Thank you both. Is there discussion on the minutes? Hearing nothing, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon,
Those minutes are approved. Number 4 on our agenda is village administrator report. Administrator Chris.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items tonight. One, which is pretty exciting news. You guys remember just a few months back, we approved an extension agreement for the sale of the former police boat that Willow Springs owned. As of earlier this week, that has been paid for in full. We received a check for $100,000 from the village of Winnetka. So in return, I've sent them the certificate of origin for the boat and the title for the boat trailer. So we officially are no longer owners of that boat. So that's exciting stuff. I'm glad it went well. They're very excited to have it and they've been putting it to good use. So that is done. Another update for you guys, the village hall for quite a while now has been trying to go through changing over our management software, size, what we utilize. They had a new program that you guys had approved the purchase of. So as of last week, that has finally gone live for us after a whole lot of hiccups in the system. So now it is up and running. We do have a list of kind of some operational things that still need to be fixed with them, but it's operating and getting through. So it's definitely going in the right direction, it seems, finally. So we've got that done. And then the last item I wanted to bring to everybody is, excuse me, sorry. I've been dealing with for over a year now, the Cook County Forest Preserve District, on behalf of Sarah's Ponies and Stables. You guys are aware of that. It's a business that's been in town for a long time on Keene Avenue. So it's kind of the far east side of town, it's as far east as you go. What the issue has been is that there are multiple property pins that Sarah and her father Eugene own. And between the property pins, there is basically an easement or an alleyway that's owned by the Cook County Forest Preserve District. She utilizes that to access her properties. And that became a property concern for the Forest Preserve District. And they attempted a couple of ways to go about fixing it. One of them was actually just shutting it down so that she would no longer have access to her driveway and a few other things. So Sarah reached out a while ago, asked me to see if I could help. I've attended multiple meetings with the Cook County Forest Preserve District on her behalf. And it appears that we've been successful in mediating an agreement between the Forest Preserve District and the stables. What it's going to do is they're going to award her a special use permit that she will pay for on a yearly basis. There's a renewal period for it that her and her attorneys are very pleased with. There's one piece of it that falls now on the village that I've felt was something that we could take on. In the back of the stables, there is what they refer to as a rustic trail. Most of the Cook County trails over there they're stone, they're paved potentially. They're a little more groomed. What she has is a rustic trail that goes from right behind her barn and her stables that connects to the more groomed trail that is officially on the Cook County Forest Preserve map. As part of this, the Cook County Forest Preserve District, I think just to maybe get a small win, has determined that they no longer want to take take any maintenance care of that trail. It really doesn't need much unless a random tree falls and you can't just move it to the side, then it's got to get cut up. That's about the only maintenance there is. And they said, will Willow Springs be willing to do that? I said, if that's what gets this done, yeah, we'll do that. So everybody seemed agreeable with that. Like I said, the liability to us and the chance of that, it's slim, you know, even if once a year I got to go cut, you know, when I say I refer to Public Works, has to go cut, you know, a 10-foot tree and then open the path back up. I think that's a pretty minimal thing to help out a long-term business in town. So I wanted to just throw that you guys, make sure that there's no concerns before I go any further on that, but they are looking for me to formally agree to it. Make sure everybody's good with that solution. It's the business owner is very pleased, Forest Reserve District's pleased. So sure, if you guys have questions on that one.
I just, my first question is any liability on our part for doing the
None that's foreseeable. I mean, no more than, I mean, I guess if one of our employees were injured while removing a tree from there, right? That's a potential liability, but that could happen on any street in any block in town. So nothing outside of the norm for operating.
And we help neighbors
Right,
at times. Public Works does that.
of course. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a good solution and it's kind of the only one. It took quite a while to get to this, so, but it appears that they'll be fine and viable after this. It's entered into, so.
just, I have another question. Chicago Food Depository.
I do believe it went really well, and I think Clerk Charles is going to give you.
I'm gonna take
Yep. But it went really well. Yes.
Good.
Yep. Yeah, it was, it's more the clerk's office.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll go forward with that and, we ever have to do, guys, I think it's gonna be pretty basic on our end. And the state will remain open. So that is my report. Thanks.
Thank you for your role in that administrative review, by that they were able to reach, an amicable agreement. It was a long. So all good stuff. Thank you for that. We will move to then village court. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so last week we hosted our first food pantry along with Lions Club, the Township of Lions, and the Chicago Food Depository. It was very successful, and it's something that's really good for the community. It was nice to see everyone so appreciative. They were all thanking us, and they just were really happy about it. Also, I'd like to thank all the volunteers who helped out. The next food pantry will be on October 15th from 3:30 to 5:30 at the community center. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, Clerk Charles. That was a really great event. So please spread the word. You know, anybody that might be interested in future food pantries that are coming up. It was a great event and a good thing we're doing. So I hope we continue and it succeeds. We will move to reports of officials, village engineer.
Just a quick update, the street resurfacing project is nearing completion. Scheduled for restoration on cleanup levels for the end.
Thank you, Engineer Branstad. To village attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under the village attorney's report, we have discussion of sale of surplus property. Now, generally speaking, when you talk about surplus property for a municipality, you're thinking computers or vehicles, but it's also applicable to real estate. And in this case, I was asked to speak with regard to possibly the sale of the Gilmar property, 123 Market Street. So to that end, the state statutes provide a mechanism for municipalities to sell real estate two different ways. The first way would be by sealed bid. And the long and short of it is the village would put an advertisement in the newspaper for 3 weeks saying they're going to accept sealed bids for the sale of the property. You have a bid opening and the village can make a decision if any of those bids are acceptable to the village. Most important thing to remember is that you don't have to accept it. If it's not what you want or you want to hold on the property, you're not required to sell it, but it would be by sealed bid. The second part, the second way that you could sell property is by appraisal. The village would go out and get an appraisal of the piece of property, and then you have then you can put a notice in the newspaper. You can sell it at a public auction, or you can even hire a real estate to sell the property for you. But the caveat to that is that you have to have at least 80% of the appraised value. Meaning if nobody comes in with an offer that's at least 80% of the appraised value, you cannot sell it. So there's gonna be pros and cons to both ways of dealing with the real estate. Both are available to you. It's really a decision for the village board to decide whether you want to sell the property and then by which mechanism you want to use in order to get to that end.
So with the sealed bid, I know you said we don't have to accept any of the bids if we don't like them, but are they gonna be close to an appraised value? Is that typically what happens, or do you know the answer to
You
that?
know what? And this is one of the pros and cons of it. It all depends on the property. If you had property that was kind of valueless, there are properties out there that don't have any value, then your sealed bid's gonna be quite low. This property certainly should have some actual money, but it's not tied to an appraisal, so there's no restriction on you being able to sell it. If somebody comes in at the really high bid, you're able to sell it. If they come in at a really low bid, you're still able to sell it should you choose to do so.
You talked about the 80%, at least the 80% of the appraised value. Even at that point, we still have the latitude to reject the bid also.
Yes, absolutely, at all times.
No, we get this sold as used, or do we ever put a bunch of money in it?
That is up to the village board.
So,
I also understand there are a few things that we still need to work out, building as far as ownership for the, or be part of the 400 Building Homeowners Association. We have several things to work out, so this is not necessarily something that's gonna happen right away, but in the near future. That's what I'm understanding.
yeah, so we know that we did acquire this property relatively recently by the no cash bid process and just had asked Attorney Peck today to speak to us and supply this memo to let us know what our options are in terms of how to sell it going forward. So as we've heard, we do have a few different options on methods by which, should we choose to sell it, we could go forward and sell it. And then we're sort of at the point in time where we're figure that out and get a direction from the board as to what they would like to do. But at least we know the methods by which we could do that, should we choose.
And there is a memo in your packet, so if you read it over, you have any questions in the future, please feel free to give me a call.
Well, that building also that we used as storage area for the free. Now, will he clean that out and take care of it? Like, get it cleaned up and everything, or is they gonna do stuff with us?
Yeah, so since we have taken possession of the property, we have made sure to communicate that it's not storage and that we should be cleaned out. So at this point, my understanding is anything that is left in there is at this point abandoned.
But it is cleaned out, or?
I believe it is, and we will make sure of that.
We're almost to October now, so I believe we were gonna start charging a fee for that, which we should have done 5 years ago, but we didn't.
Well, it wasn't our property 5 years ago. It was our property just a few weeks ago.
Right.
We do have, a company scheduled for next week to come out. So, what if I, Mayor,
Yes.
so tonight, if I could, I, from the board, I just need 2 things. One is just a consensus that everybody, would like to see the building sold and no longer remain a village asset, which I think is the direction. Getting nods. So that's the big piece, number one. And then number 2 is the method and how it should be done. Attorney Peck just kind of referenced both of them. In my experience in the past, the sealed bid process is typical and more practical and opens it up to kind of a broader audience and gives the board a little bit more of direction on how and if and when it's sold versus just the appraisal. We did have an appraisal completed. The village took that on. We talked about that a few months ago. That took a little bit of time to get completed, but I do have that information back. And so I think if everybody is good with it, what I would like to do going forward is work that piece of it would be discussed in executive session when you're talking about bid terms, any parameters you wanted to set on it, and maybe a minimum bid option. Would all be discussed in a closed session. You don't openly talk about that piece of it. But if everybody is in agreement that that is a good way to go, I think Attorney Peck and I could then work on putting basic parameters together, and then at a time that's agreeable, we would do a closed session where we can kind of present a recommendation, and the board can either adjust it or go with it, or whatever you guys would like to do as far as a sales price and any you know, parameters that we would have in there. If everyone's okay with that, Attorney Peck and I can work that
I
direction.
think that's acceptable.
I think so too.
Is that,
Okay.
tell us about the space that we own now, is it first floor, second?
So
floor?
we own the entire building, all 3 floors. So the bottom floor is the former Gilmart, which was, you know, a market deli store.
You say
and then
red,
the-
just that section.
That's
Straight up.
that's straight up, that's correct, right. So then you have the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor that was previously used as office space. So the entire building is vacant and not utilized by any tenant. So we would be looking to do that. And then to trustee R's comments about the HOA, the building is part of the master agreement with the 400 building and their HOA. Over time, they realized that it probably wasn't negotiated in the best way for the existing residential part of that HOA. And so the board president reached out once he knew that we owned the building. We talked in the past about it a few times, and so now's the time. So they are reviewing their board, their HOA rules and how it relates to that 123 Market Street building, so that they can determine what fees are appropriate. Fees haven't been paid on behalf of that building in quite a long time. Fees would go into like exterior maintenance, snow removal, grass cutting, those types of things. They're looking to just have the agreement maybe defined a little bit better, as well as the common parking lot in the back, which is a shared lot for that building, as well as the condos. So they wanted to define that a little bit. So I requested that the HOA's attorney redline the document on what their requested changes would be, and then we would review it while we own the building, so that we can just make sure that going forward, those problems are rectified before we sell the building, that way we're not passing on a problem. So that's something else we'll have to look at, presuming that they choose to go forward. Now, if they review it and they say, you know what, never mind, it's okay, we're good with it, then there'd be nothing for us to review. So it's on them to
It's
determine
like
that.
anything, we'll have to decide if we want to fix it up before we put it up for sale.
That's correct. And so that piece of it, I have some numbers when we have that closed session meeting. I have some rough numbers, what basic repairs would cost and what the estimated value would be if we made some repairs and then sold it, or if we sold it the way it sits as we talk right now. So we can share all that in the closed.
You know, I think you could look at it several different ways. You could start off and just clean out the building and put it up and see what you get, and if it's not what you get, you can talk about how you want to approach a continued sale at that point.
I think if you try to sell it as is, and if we sweep the floors or whatever, I don't think you're gonna, I think then if you come back and fix it, and put it up for sale, the same people won't come back.
Oh, we could have a further discussion.
Yeah, I think we can, when we have that discussion, I'll make sure that I have some detailed photos of the inside of the building, current conditions, things like that as well. It'll just help everybody understand where we're at. So I think we're good. I've got the answers I need for now to move forward with Attorney Peck, and we'll move forward and get.
Just one other question. Do you think we put this together, stipulating what the PUD said for the zoning on that? Or do we leave it open? I mean, that's gonna be part of the package to put out there, because I'm sure we're gonna get some people responding in several different ways.
I'd be surprised if somebody came in to do something crazy different there than what's kind of long-term established. But if you guys wanted to have something in there, that, you know, any development must conform with current zoning, that's definitely something that we could put in.
You're saying. I agree, but we have to make sure that the zoning and the guideline, we want to know, I hope, people are smart enough to ask for the zoning, you know.
Mhm.
Couple of years now.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
they have all they've done.
Definitely. This isn't a 70-acre parcel, so I don't think we'll get any big surprises.
All right, so you have the answers that you need in terms of how to proceed forward. It sounds like of the methods for selling that are explained to us here, we're going to look in moving towards the sealed bid process, and potentially we'll be having a closed session meeting on this soon, once we get further along. And we will continue to keep the community informed about where we are in this process and what's the best.
I have one other question. Where's the parking for that place, for that new building, or townhouses here, where's the parking? If I were to buy that, where's my parking?
So you have the, all of the parking in front of the building still that's along Archer Avenue. And I don't know the number of spots there, but you have those spots in front of the
You
building.
know, so.
And Market Street is open for anybody to park. So you have Market Street, you have, the parking lot that is along, east-west with Archer Avenue there. And then in the HOA master agreement, you also have use of the parking lot behind the building there, that, kind of where we have our car show. That parking lot is also usable for the entire 123 Market Street building. It's in their master agreement. So we would, at a later date, we can have a count on how many spots that is,
When
but
people are renting or buying those townhouses next to it,
Mhm.
what do they have as a right to any of the parking there? I've heard two ways.
they,
Do they own any of those?
they do not own the spots. None of them are assigned, and they technically only belong to the condos. So they are very friendly. Like just recently, the townhomes, have been doing some road construction. They didn't have access to their garage. So, the condos were very agreeable to let them use that parking lot to be a good neighbor, but they don't have any legal right to that space.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Go see it, so they-
If there are no further questions, based on what I have for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Peck. On to village treasurer.
Pretty much that.
Reports of standing committee, finance and administration committee, trustee Art.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 71, warrant 24-015 dated September 26, 2024. Payroll and fund expenses totaling $172,790.94.
That's the motion by trustee Art. Thank you. Second,
I'll second.
by trustee Kennedy. Discussion on the warrants?
As usual, it contains our payroll, which, because we're having more frequent meetings, is just for one period, which accounts for about 70% of the thing. And then a few of the other larger invoices, we had the outfitting of our MG's vehicle for the budgeted item, some waste and garbage removal, and then which is routine, and then the West Central membership dues, which account for about 22% of that. Remaining is just miscellaneous day-to-day stuff.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion on the warrants? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
And those warrants are approved.
That completes my.
Okay, thank you, trustee Art. On to public safety, trustee Kennedy.
I have no report. Is there anything you'd like to add, chief?
Just to thank you, Mr. Sprinkle, Police Commission, and I did approve the lateral transfer of Justin Oppenheimer, who's been a part-time officer here for 5 years, great worker. One to work time. But it was fun and good news right there. Thank you. What is your number now? Over that word? 13 full-time.
Thank you for the update sheet. Thank you to the commission.
Concludes my report.
Okay, trustee Kennedy, thanks. We will move on to municipal buildings and grounds, trustee. Michael.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to say thank you to Ryan there for helping out the businesses with Sarah, who go along with their daily things. That was very nice of you. And my report consists of, we got 3 new lights in Willow Park and new wiring. Worked fantastic, very bright out there, so be at night. And we had a great concert in the park with Freddie and Friends on September 13th. We had a great turnout and it was a great success. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, trustee Micah.
Can I ask a question, please? You said new lights, is that Lions Park?
No, Willow Park. We had new lights up there, yeah.
Are those on a timer,
Photo stuff.
so they shut off? at night?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Photo stuff,
Well,
yes.
So it's
Plus
awesome.
the dog. Same as the original one.
I know I've been by Lions Park at night and that one big light on the building. On late at night, it's really bright.
Where's your bedroom?
Those sunglasses.
All right, trustee Micah, is that all that you got for your report?
Yes, that
Okay,
concludes. my
very good. Thank you. Yeah, I agree that the lights are a nice addition. I appreciate that. That kind of leads us into Public Works Committee. Director Grantland, you've been to Public Works?
Thank God, Monday is the last scheduled record. Practice.
Okay, thank you, Director Grantland.
Keith, is that for money, is it full time now?
It's, outside of Monday. Yeah, we take it down.
And then you want to know, sir?
We will be out, it will be a regular schedule.
Okay, next we have License and Franchise Committee, Trustee Moon.
Okay, we put there. We have a couple of them. In the president of the standard, she goes, the first section is explaining the store, there are two of them. One is the free lounge over here, the free license will be under daughter's name, if I'm correct, under the daughter's name. And, that will be discussed more tonight. And then, the other one is the Univar, which is back here, back, you have public works there. Yeah. But vehicle company, that is a vehicle company, but that will be they have license for that, but this will be a separate license that's going to be mainly as an office work area for their people. So, you know, more in depth with that, and it's my report.
Okay, thank you for that summary, Trustee Moon. And I believe we can pass on Building and Zoning Committee tonight. So we do get right into the action items that Trustee Moon is referencing. We have the first two, which are approvals related to the restaurant tax free that is just up here on Market Street. It's been a business in town for quite a while now, and they are, as a background, looking to transfer ownership to the daughter Maria. And so with that, we will need to consider a new business license for her as well as a new liquor license. So that is where we get our first two action items. Moving into our first action item, this is the action item to approve the business license for Maria's Management Services, LLC, DBA, Capri Lounge and Grill located at 131 Market Street. The business application is in our board pack. The review is not complicated because it is an existing business in town. Representatives are here from Capri to answer questions. So I will ask for a motion to approve this business license.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
By Trustee Micah, second by Trustee Kennedy. Now, do we have discussion or questions on the business license application?
I just want to ask a very simple question. Is anything changing in the business or is it just ownership that's changing?
Any additional questions on the business license? Okay, then I think we are ready to do a roll call vote. Click that.
Trustee,
I would just want to ask. Any recommendation by the license committee chairman? I mean, what's your recommendation to the group?
Have I seen everything on it?
Well, no, I'm just asking as a recommendation because we have a whole list of people that are supposed to look at this and you're being.
We've already caught up with it, but we don't sign it until after it's been approved.
Right, I'm just looking for a recommendation.
I had a meeting with the mayor. Over everything.
So I think Trustee R.
You're fine.
What is your recommendation?
Okay. He said he was
Are you-
fine with these, which is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I think that completes the discussion and we're ready for a roll call vote on the business. license.
Trustee R, Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
All ayes and that's approved. Thank you. So again, relative to our space at Capri Lounge and Grill, 131 Market Street. We have action to approve the liquor license for Maria's Management Services LLC, DBA as Capri Lounge and Grill. The liquor license application is in our board pack. It has been reviewed and approval is recommended. In conjunction with the materials in our board pack, you also have ordinance number 2024-0-15. And that ordinance increases the number of RV licenses from 8 to 9 because Maria's would be assigned an RV license. And once she obtains her final liquor licensing from the state, we understand the current liquor license that is at Capri Restaurant would be surrendered, and then by our ordinance under Title 4, Chapter 3, it automatically will come off of our books. So at that point, when that is surrendered, the Class A would automatically drop out. So that is the background and information on the liquor license and ordinance before us. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. Excuse me, I want to say something. I think if the license committee, and I've already gone through, I think I should be the one making the motion. Okay? Thank you guys. I'm just saying, it's nice to jump in and say it, but I think it should be the committee chairman who's been in these meetings that we're assisting on now. I think that the appropriate that I make the motion on. Okay?
That's
Okay.
fine.
Because you guys have been in meetings, so, Mr. Hart, like you said,
I think it is safe to say that we
Okay.
have the motion by
Motion.
trustee Moon. Is there a second
I'll second it.
by trustee Kennedy? Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody's overwhelming eagerness to make the motion to approve this. Is there, I gotta do it. It's my life. I completely agree. You're lonely over there.
I would, you know,
Buzzer.
somehow we gotta get a speaker. Our your people on my hearing aids. Turns out, we would have had a speaker, hands down, they can hear things too. Guys agree we need a speaker in here?
So we have the motion, we have the second. Is there any discussion or questions related to?
Yeah, I brought up the question before, and it's in the application. Answer that, I was just looking for, understanding how long the lease is good for, because in the application, it asks for that information period covered by the lease.
Yeah.
I was just interested to find out how long the lease goes
Trust-
for.
Trustee, I've got that for you. So it was, when they entered into it, it was a 5-year lease. They are 2 years into that current lease. And so the agreement that you guys have is the assumption of the remaining 3 years of the lease. And that lease does have a renewal clause in it.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
I was just trying to understand how long this business would be here, so it's good to know. And all the other paperwork from what I looked at, insurance and certificates, all that very good, so.
So this will go until January, then you have to open the license.
This would be up for renewals at the beginning of the year, like all of them. Yeah, look at it. Any more discussion on this one? Okay, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
All eyes and that over license that ordinance. Congratulations. Really happy for you. Maria and John are here. That's Maria worked very hard. Mental, that's a good thing. Congratulations.
Walk forward, talk about the
Okay, wonderful. We will move to action item number 3. That is approval of the business license Univar Solutions, USA INS LLC, located at 8500 Rolling Springs Road. And as trustee Moon indicated in his report earlier, Univar Solutions is a business that's been operating in town for quite some time, and under their primary license, they transport and store organic chemicals, and their primary license is current, and they are in good standing with the village. And this is a secondary license that they are seeking in order to use it for more of their office and operational purposes, and my understanding is correct, and we do have representatives from Univar here. Should the board have any questions for them, but with that background, I'll ask for a motion.
I couldn't.
I make a motion. Motion by trustee Moon. Thank you for that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that trustee Kennedy?
Yes, it was.
All right, second by trustee Kennedy. Discussion or questions on this?
Yeah, I have a couple related to, first of all, is the business changing at all? I mean, you're doing exactly the same
Yeah, we're
thing.
gonna continue current operations, business continuity, which will stay the same. Current operating, continue to operate the same.
Okay, and then I was trying to understand, because I was looking at the application, do you guys handle any? Let's see. You have any hazardous materials on the property?
We do carry hazardous materials, the variety of hazardous materials we carry are what we consider organic chemicals. So consider them compounds that you would see in, many applications such as household cleaners, the paint and coatings industry, the automotive industry. We don't carry what we would sometimes communities fear as highly hazardous materials like radioactive poison. That's not really our issue in Powell. We kind of focus on more things like paint and packaging, those petroleum-based products.
Okay, because I was looking at the application on page 3, it says, will your business use and store hazardous materials on the property? And you answered no, and then the follow-up question is, maybe it seemed like that, you're a flash title owner, but the question is about hazardous materials that you would have on the property, so I'm trying to clarify.
If you store it.
And that information is indicated in the primary license for which you pay a fee for those storage.
Yeah.
So this license is just for the office.
For the office.
Okay.
Any more questions for representatives from Univar, questions from the board? Hearing none, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee R,
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
All ayes, and that license is approved. Thank you.
Welcome board. How many people do you have?
We operate, just sort of 100 people on the site. Most of our labor is actually unionized labor, drivers and operators who operate under 2 teams or local. The office itself, which consists of administrative functionality, it's about 17 people. 17. 17 people total. 17 people total.
So how many of you in the office?
About 17 people total. Yeah. 100. Yeah. We do, we operate a multiple shift operations. Some of those people always out the site, they may come in during our second shift.
Thank you very much. All right, then we're gonna move to action item number 4. And that is approval of ordinance 2024-0-14, that's an ordinance creating section 8-4-7 of the infiltration and inflow inspections. We have the ordinance in our board pack. Where this comes from is our compliance for tourist televising with MWRD. As part of our continuation of our compliance with them, they have asked us to add this language to our code section. It has been reviewed by our engineer as well as our administration here, and they are approving or recommending approval of this language to be added. So is there a motion? By trustee R. Is there a second? By trustee Moon. Discussion or questions?
Just wanted to, for everybody's benefit, I talked to the village administrator. And we've made a lot of strides here, so we had to play catch up. So,
Thank you for shining light on that, trustee R. It really has been, we inherited quite a bit of catching up to do in terms of compliance. And engineer and administration and public works, everyone's done a really great job of getting us into compliance, and now we're exceeding expectations. So job well done.
And that's just a safety issue and for everybody in the town, I think. So it's a good thing for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so did we have a roll call vote on that? Okay, if there's no further discussion for Charles, could we please do a roll call?
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
All ayes, and that's approved. Thank you for that. And we move on to our final action item. That is number 5. That is action to approve stray animal partnership-based service agreement between the Village of Spruce and the Hinsdale Humane Society. They already help us in taking our stray animal. The agreement is in our board pack. It does say stray animals, however, it applies to stray dogs and dogs that are running at large. And that is in our enforcement powers within our code. And this is an agreement that they want us to enter into because we desire to keep using Hinsdale Humane Society for our services. It has been reviewed by our attorney and the staff, and approval is recommended. The only thing I would point out here is that there's 2 different options for rate and fee arrangement, and our police department has advised us that based on our usage, the flat rate fee is the best for the village's purposes, so that option is marked in this agreement. So with that background, is there a motion to approve it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Micah, second by trustee Moon. Discussion or questions?
Yeah, I found it interesting when I asked the question because it's titled, it talks about stray animal services, and this really just applies to dogs.
Yeah.
Well, that was one question. We still have a dog license that we have. Okay, so the stray ones, is it cats and dogs?
This is really just pertaining to the dog.
They do not take
They
any
do
feral
not.
animals.
Any more questions on this agreement?
This agreement is also a 3-year agreement, automatically renewed, how it is right here, anybody can submit from each other.
Mhm.
That's how it's gonna happen.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote for Charles, please.
Trustee Ara,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Micah,
Aye.
Moon.
And that agreement is approved. Thank you for that. That completes our action items. Is there any old business? Any need for new business this evening? Public comment? Is there anyone signed up?
No.
All right, moving right along. There is no need for executive session, so that leaves us just with the village president. Go ahead, for this evening. I just want to mention that our next couple meetings, there's only 4 meetings left in the year, so we will have a lot as sort of a preview to cover in those next meetings. End of the year things like budget, which our officials and administration has been working and getting that ready, so thank you for your work on that, everyone. We'll have budget, insurance renewal, the calendar for next year, all of that fun stuff. So we will be very busy within the last 4 meetings. So looking forward to that. Want to mention a happy birthday to Clerk Charles, who celebrated a birthday recently.
Thank you.
And also a happy birthday to Trustee Posh, although he's not here, he will be celebrating a birthday next week. And finally, just thank you all for being here. Our next meeting is 10:10. So until then, everybody stay well and have a great evening. Did we have something you pointed? Is there something to report on from that? Hi, Matt, it's good to see you.
Like to hear.
Always a pleasure to see everyone here in the audience. Thank you for being here. That completes the president's report. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So.
I'll second.
We have the motion by trustee Ara, the second by trustee Kennedy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned at 7:45. Thanks, everyone.
That's one of those.